First of all, Kim has done this to me before. He's called my Liberator a B-26.
Did I do it again?
You did it again.
Oh.
It was a B-24. Yes, I flew B-24. All my combat missions were as co-pilot. I flew during the year of 1944. So, that's enough about me. What I've come to talk to or tell you about today is actually a story about a 19-year-old kid who left such a wonderful thing with us. This boy's name was John Gillespie McGee Jr. He was born to missionary parents in China. His father was American, his mother was English. He started his education in China, and then his mother got him enrolled in rugby in England. So most of his secondary education was in England. But then he came to the United States in 1939 on a visit to his parents, and he couldn't get back. Remember, 1939 was a big year in the Battle of Britain. Civilians just couldn't move around very much. So he had to stay here in the United States and got his last year in secondary school here in Connecticut. He was such a good student that he was offered a fellowship, scholarship, I should say, at Yale. But he turned it down. He wanted to get back to England and help in the fray. So he went to Canada and joined the Royal Canadian Air Force, was accepted into pilot training, and then in June of 1940, he got his wings, his rating as a pilot officer, and was immediately shipped off to England. In 1941, he was on a high-altitude training flight. And as he flew up through 30,000 feet, he started composing a sonnet, a poem. Now, he had written some poetry before. I like to think that a lot of it was for his girl that he's in love with her. But anyway, he continued composing this sonnet as he reached 33,000 feet. And then as he descended back to the earth, he kept working on this and finally finished it. Fortunately, he scribbled this down on the back of a letter to his parents, or this would have been lost. Now, let me back up. A lot of people have tried to describe flight, what it means to man to fly. And people have written a number of things. For example, Alfred Lord Tennyson, in a rather long poem, wrote 6 lines about the future and about flight. Now at this time, we didn't even have a steerable balloon. But Tennyson was looking into the future, and he wrote, "Oh, I have looked into the future, far as human eye can see, saw the vision of the world and all the wonders that would be. Saw the heavens filled with commerce, argosies of magic sails, pilots of the purple twilight dropping down with costly bales. Heard the heavens filled with shouting, and there rained a ghastly dew from the nation's airy navies grappling in the central blue." It's quite good. And yet, there's some things lacking as far as man's love of flight. Charles Lindbergh, in his book, The Spirit of St. Louis, wrote a couple of lines. He said, "Sometimes flying seems too godlike to be attained by man. Sometimes the world from above seems too beautiful, too wonderful for the human eye to see." Another great description maybe of flight. But along comes this 19-year-old kid. And he wrote something that expresses all the joy, all the excitement, all the exuberance there is in flying, and also the awe and the reverence that there is in flight. "Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed, enjoying the comely mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I have chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through witless halls of air. Up, up, the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark or even eagle flew. And while, with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God." Beautiful. John called this high flight.